Hey everyone, welcome to another Learn to Play Masterclass. I am Charlie, and welcome back. If you're seeing this video, I don't know if you've seen the previous LTP Masterclass episodes, but I am on a roll doing the Opus 25 Chopin Etudes. So if you guys are learning these etudes or want to learn these etudes or are interested in the etudes, here's a masterclass. Now a masterclass usually, as I'm sure most of you, or many of you may know, is basically when I go to a college or conservatory usually and do a lesson, a public lesson on a stage. And so like a student will come out and play something and then I'll teach them in front of an audience, talking to them and the audience. Now there's no student here. I'm just going to be teaching. So this is a kind of a good YouTube version of it maybe. Hopefully it'll give you some ideas about what you can do, or, you know, again, just like anything in music, there's a bajillion ways of doing and interpreting different pieces. So take some ideas, leave some, let me know in the comments. What do you think of this piece? Are you playing it? Are you learning it? All that good stuff. Now, before we start, if you want to learn, if you want to listen to me play the whole piece through, there's videos on YouTube of that, but also my first album, Vivace. That one has the entire Opus 25 that I recorded on it. And that's on like Apple Music and Spotify and all those things. So check that out. I'm using the Cortot edition. A lot of people ask me what I use. So that's this version. I'm not like, oh, you have to use the Cortot version. But if you do want to use it, I've got an affiliate link below on Amazon, so you can get it there. Cortot version is a good one. I usually get Urtext stuff, but for this one I have Cortot. I had it since I was like 10 or 12 or something like that. So today we're going to do the number 7 etude. But before we start, you know what to do. Subscribe, comment, like here, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the Facebook, all the socials. Follow me and let's help that, especially Instagram and Facebook. So hit it up there too, but also YouTube, because YouTube's, I don't know, whatever, all over for the algorithm. We're gonna do the number 7 etude today. That's the cello etude. That's the nickname, at least. I almost think of it more like a cello and violin etude though, because it's kind of a duet. You can almost imagine like Yo-Yo Ma, the cellist, and like Joshua Bell, the violin, is kind of having this dialogue in this piece. You have this beautiful cello voice, and then you have the violin. This is the slowest of all of the Opus 25 etudes, and the longest too. But what we're going to do is going to go through a little bit of it and give some ideas. In general, big picture stuff. There's basically the two voices, the cello and the cello and the violin, and then there's accompaniment, like a lot of. And keep that down. Really sing out the cello and violin. Now, sing out doesn't mean just play loud. Playing loud is part of it, louder at least relatively to the other stuff. But it should be a rich tone in this case, both of them. So how do you play rich? Playing deeply into the keys is a great, great thing to do in this piece. So what do I mean by play deeply? One thing you can consider is imagine that the key goes all the way to the floor, right? But you're playing, but it just gets stopped. It gets stopped, but you're on the way to the floor, but it just gets stopped. It's that kind of feel almost, and that kind of a sound. Deep doesn't necessarily mean loud. So remember that. You can play deeply, but not loudly. There's a difference. It's not just a pure dynamic thing. You want to sing these melodies out, but you also want them to be rich and deep. Cellos aren't, right? They're warm and rich, and yeah. So starting off, it's almost like a cello solo, and it's a cello solo. It's like a cadenza. So take your time. Keep the pedal fairly clear. Playing deep into the keys. Now the beat kind of comes in. Violin. Shape. So I like. The top line. Don't forget that. Don't be afraid to push ahead and fall back. It doesn't have to be metronomic. the major chord. Bring out that counter melody in the violin. I like to push ahead just slightly here to keep it moving. The violin is singing out. Cello responding. Especially when the left hand gets low, it gets muddy. Even without pedal, it's much blurrier than, right? You can still hear notes, but here, right? So extra clear, little if any pedal. You can almost détacher a bit to give that extra clarity down there. The clarity part mainly for the descending part, that is. So here. And then it's kind of a big swoosh, but keep this is the main part. Da, dee, dee, right? So keep that kind of foundation. It is ritardandoing, ritenuto, it says right there. That was a little bit lousy. Clear it out. So you want to clear the pedal. Flutter pedaling, I think, is probably a good idea to do there. One last time, and then we're going to move on. The cello a little quieter here. Let the violin really sing out. All the way to that A. I do a little ritardando there, fermata. It's almost like it disappeared and is the piece over? Like, oh, is the piece over? But then it continues. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let's start there. Left hand. Response in the right. Almost a cadenza again. Is it done? What comes next? And we're back home. Sorry. Now we're back home. Deep and into the keys. Do shake. Chromatic scale, growing all the way to the top. But deep. You don't want it to be harsh. Rich. Where can I start? Don't rush to continue. Control left hand. is connected, but I cheat and I do another one. Now the last two again are connected, but I play an extra chord there because I want to. All right. Anyway, so yeah, it's a beautiful piece, but it really it's like there's kind of a pulse in the middle, those chords, you know, those intervals, boom, 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 or whatever, this kind of throughout the piece, and then you have the cello and you have the violin, and those are much more free. And the middle is just kind of a suggestion of the pulse of the piece, and it can ebb and flow, and it should. Deep, rich, and really shaping all of those lines. Imagine, you really have to almost imagine that you're like a violinist and a cellist and a conductor all in one in this piece. It's a very free piece, but it still should be controlled. Right? There's a difference between being free but controlled and letting things run away with you. You don't want to let it run away with you because then it just sounds like crap. So deep, rich, play into the keys, warm tone, shape the tones, and free but controlled. All right, so I hope that's helpful. Be sure to comment. Let me know what you think of this piece. What do you think? Is this your favorite? No? Boring? It's technically probably one of the easiest because it's so slow. But it's hard to play it well. It's one of those things there's other videos, check them out, or at least one, I think, where I talk about like hardness, right? Like some things can be technically hard, but musically easy. Some things can be musically hard, but technically easy. This is one of those, musically hard, technically easy. And some things are hard in every way, and some things are easy in every way. But yeah, this is a musically hard, technically easier piece. It's probably the easiest of the etudes in terms of technique, but it's a beautiful one. So comment below for the algorithm, and I'll see you guys all in another LTP Masterclass. See you later.